Namaskar. Today, the Wednesday evening, we will be reading from the Gospel of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the Panchama Veda. Let us begin with the stotra. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam gobhi virilitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam Srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. We were reading that the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he was celebrating the car festival in Balaram's Mandir, the Balaram's house. And then afterwards, from there he was visiting Nandabo's house. It was Tuesday, July 28, 1885. So today is the Wednesday and it was Tuesday. It was July 28 and today, this month also July. But that many years difference. But this way the things happen all the time. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he will be talking about the different the unique ideas. So let us read from the page 815 from the English book and 875-76 the Bengali book. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in Balaram's drawing room with the devotees. Among others, Binod, Rakhal, the younger Naren, Aim were present. The master had come to Balaram's house in the morning and had been taking his midday meal there. At Balaram's house, the deity was worshipped as Jagannath. Balaram Babu, they were the landlord of a part of Odisha. So Odisha means they all are devoted to Jagannath Mahaprabhu. So this Balaram Bosh, they were also devoted to the Jagannath, and there the house deity was Jagannath. And the members of the family partook of the food offered to the deity. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the food at Balaram's house was very pure, because they used to cook for God, they used to offer to God, and they used to partake. And cook that food that we are cooking for ourselves or for our friends and for celebrations, that is for us. But anything that we offer to God, it becomes purified because it is no other things. So God is taking the food, it becomes purified. This is the system. This tradition is in every religion. Then Narayan and certain other devotees had remarked to the master that Nanda Bosh, an aristocrat of Bagbajar, had many pictures of the gods and goddesses in his house. Hence Sri Ramakrishna intended to pay a visit to Nanda's house in the afternoon. A Brahmin woman devoted to master lived nearby. She often came to see him at Dakshineshwar. She was extremely sorrowful over the death of her only daughter, and the master had agreed to go to her house. She had invited him with great earnestness. From her house the master was to go to the house of Gonu's mother, another devotee. The younger Naren had said to Sri Ramakrishna that he would not be able to visit him often on occasion on account of his having to prepare for his examination. Master to the younger Naren, though he said that he may not come, but he came. Now Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling him, I didn't send for you today. The younger Naren smiling. But they used to love. So obviously they used to come and to have the company and listen to his words. So now when Sri Ramakrishna said that I didn't call for you today, he smiled and said, what can be done about it now? Since I have already come, now what can be done? So Sri Ramakrishna is telling, well, my child, I don't want to interfere with your studies. You may visit me when you have leisure. Say, Chhatranam Uddhayanam Tapa. The students are supposed to study. When they have the leisure time, they may go to the holy places, to listen to the holy talks, and try to imbibe those wonderful ideas. That is all right. But they should not neglect the study. Why? Because they are the future of the human society. A young person, if he is not devoting his time to learn, then he will be afterwards a liability for the human society. He is not going to die, but for his living, society will have to pay a lot of money, and obviously that will go from the other's pocket, from the tax money. Why? Why he should not contribute? So that is the idea in the human society, and from the olden days also. From the 6 years to 16 years, they used to send them to the Guru Griha. They will be going over there, and then they will listen to the study under the guidance of the teacher, and by that way, slowly they will get all those knowledge, which they will again share and utilize for the betterment of the human society. So that is the main idea. So he said, well, my child, I don't want to interfere with your studies. You may visit me when you have leisure. The master said these words, and he was ready to go to Nanda Bo's house. Friends, yesterday was our the 4th of July celebration. The whole America, they celebrated the Independence Day. The happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. In 1776, the 4th of July, they adopted that all this will be coming under the United States of America. It was before that they were known as United Colonies. There were 13 colonies were there. So they became united. They fought against the Britishers, and 1776 ultimately they got the freedom, and that was the 4th of July. The beautiful the song is there, the freedom song is there, and at the same time on the 4th of July, Swami Vivekananda, he left his the mortal body. On the 4th of July again, the Swami Vivekananda, when he was visiting Kashmir with his Western disciples, particularly American disciples, he composed a beautiful poem dedicated to the 4th of July. If you are interested, you can read that poem. It is about the freedom. The Swamiji, he mentioned the famous quotes of Swami Vivekananda. He said, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the first condition of growth. Again, he said in another place, freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom is the song of the soul. Now this freedom from any obstruction. Now, the human mind wants to get freedom. Freedom means ultimate freedom. Till then, the human mind cannot get rest. We are always dissatisfied, even with lot of wealth, lot of money, lot of the social status. Even then, they are not satisfied, because till we go back to our source, we do not get the ultimate joy, ultimate freedom. Here the freedom of the song of the soul, when Swami Vivekananda mentioned that is the ultimate freedom. Freedom from bondage, freedom from desire, freedom from ignorance. This world is real, and I have to get everything of this world, me and mine, all this completely wrong conception. But many of the people do not understand this. They think I am born, then this is my life, I have to get lot of money, then I have to be somebody in the society, and this and that. So that is the way they always think. But Vedanta say, Hindu Dharma, they said it is wrong. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the God himself, the Vishnu himself, incarnated as Sri Ramakrishna, he is giving us the guidance of these, freedom, and freedom from the bondage. Freedom is the first condition of growth. Unless we are free to think, free to act, free to speak, free to live, then there is always stagnation. Somebody is constantly dictating us, and that human mind cannot grow. So that is why when we get political freedom, we always celebrate that. But that is the first part of the freedom. Then begins the journey. We have to develop the social freedoms, freedom of speech, freedom, the economical freedom, like that, all that freedom is necessary. The Swamiji said that is the first condition of growth. They got the freedom, the America got the freedom in 1774, and much afterwards in our India got the freedom, and that was the 1945, the 15th August. The 15th August is the great day for the Indians because they got the freedom. And 4th of July is a great day for the Americans because they got the freedom. And both very unique way they got the freedom from the Britishers. Britishers, they became powerful, they went out and they captured, and that goes on. That is the human society that always happen. Whoever gets the opportunity, they go out, they try to capture, they try to rule, and then naturally again opposition comes. It goes on and on. But what is the ultimate freedom? That is enshrined, that is recorded in every page of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And that's why I always love to call it as Panchama Veda, because the Veda, it gives the knowledge, and knowledge gives us our ultimate freedom, the song of the soul. The soul that is there, which is eternal, which is full of joy, it gets entangled, unfortunately, with the body. And then we start thinking that I am this body only. The Vedanta will say, when you put your finger on the body, can you say this body? Because a few years before, this body was completely different. And few years after, this body will also change. The constantly changing body, how can you say this, which is this? When you were a child, the body was small. When you are growing up, it is changing. When you will be old, it will be completely different type of body. But even then you think that this is your body? How can that be? When the water is flowing in the river, you take out the little water and say, this is the water of the river. Which water? It has already changed. Similarly, the mind also. The thoughtful people, they will understand. This is the argument the Vedantin will always say, that if this is changing in this way, whom you call I? So you stand, you stop, and then you think, which is this I? This is the consciousness which is living within this body. And this same consciousness, it will go on taking different bodies and taking all the impressions of your mind, of your thought, of your actions, of your deeds, and it will go on changing the bodies. It is not the body, it is your thought. And what is that thought? if we think that this world is permanent, that's wrong. World is constantly changing. Everything is changing every moment. Even the sun is also changing. As because there's a long period of time it is surviving, we don't notice the change, but it is changing, and science proves that. So obviously one has to be very, very careful about saying this is I. So this I means the ego, and what is that ego? When you understand that, we wonder, oh my God, that I is not the small body. I is not this selfish small thing. I means the whole universe. I am consciousness, which is pervading the whole universe. And that is the ultimate freedom. The social freedom, political freedom, economical freedom, freedom of speech, all these of course necessary, because that is the first condition of growth. But the ultimate growth, when it reaches and finally reaches to the point, and that is called mukti, liberation, nirvana. And this nirvana which Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is teaching. So congratulations on the 4th of July, and let each and every human being everywhere in this world be liberated, be free, and live his own or her own life. Now saying this, let us go along with Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna to Nanda Bose house. He already visited the house of Balaram, took prasad, then visited one lady's house who lost her son, and then he has visited the Gonu's mother again, another devotee. From there, now look at it, the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is going to the rich man's house. At the same time, he is visiting the very humble, ordinary people's house also. Why? Because they are good people. If they are good people, God will visit. God will be. Sri Ramakrishna is the God himself. And he is going means the God is visiting that house. Where God is visiting? Those who are good people. This Gonu's mother and the other lady. Now, here he is going to visit Nanda's house. Now, we will get the description. Master Mahasaya, as if he is carrying the camera. He is a beautiful writer. Whatever he sees, he gives the description of that. If you could read the original Bengali that he wrote, the excellent description of each and every place and time and people, and those who are a little contemplative type, when they are reading those the descriptions, they can close their eyes and transport their mind to that particular time and the place. So vivid description, as if he is giving a picture, pen-drawn picture. So we are visiting the Nanda Bose house. A palanquin was brought for him, and he got into it repeating the name of God. Friends, we have to notice the lifestyle of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. The God who is living as in human form is living with us. And when whatever he is doing all the time, in all places, he is taking the name of God, remembering God, praying to God. And every movement from one place to another place he will go. Instead of walking, they provided a palanquin. When he is entering into the palanquin, he is repeating the name of God. He had put on a pair of black burnished slippers and a red border cloth. As Sri Ramakrishna sat down in the palanquin and put the slippers by his side, he accompanied the palanquin on foot. Paresh joined them. Palanquin, many of you know, you have seen the picture. The one person, the Sri Ramakrishna entered into it. Maybe 2 people can see it, 4 people will be carrying. But here they are only providing Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and you have to sit squatting over there, crossed leg. So they took out the sleeper and put in that palanquin itself in one corner. Sri Ramakrishna sat, and these people, they were going. Master Mahasaya was walking by the side of the palanquin, and another person, Parish, also accompanied. They entered the gate of Nanda's house, crossed the spacious square, and stopped in front of the building. Usually, the rich people's house were like that, everywhere. The members of the family greeted the master. He asked him to hand him the sleepers and then got out of the palanquin and entered the large hall. It was a very spacious room. Pictures of gods and goddesses were hanging on all sides. The Sri Ramakrishna got the information, as we just read. Someone said that he is having, the Nanda Bose is having different pictures. Sri Ramakrishna was curious to visit that. Nanda Bose, though a rich person and well established in the society, a famous person in that society at that time, but they also knew Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So obviously, they were also very respectful to him and curious to see him. They were all family members were standing outside. Sri Ramakrishna got down, they greeted. Sri Ramakrishna entered into the hall, and Nanda Bose and his brother Pashupati saluted Sri Ramakrishna. This gives another the picture of the Dain society, mostly the joint family. Now if you go to any house, the mostly single person, he, his wife and his children, maybe he will be inviting his close relatives and friends and neighbors, so they will come. Usually neighbors and friends are there, but here when the Master Mahasaya is mentioning, that means they live together. It's a joint family. Big house, all the brothers with their own families, they could stay. And mostly the Jamindars, they had the businesses. And the Bengalis at that time, they were very rich people and obviously very cultured people. When the Britishers went to India, instead of having their capital in Delhi, in the beginning they went to Calcutta, because that time of all the states, the Bengal was very rich. The Bengal was not divided, East Bengal, West Bengal, it was not like that. It was the united one Bengal, and East Bengal was very famous for growing the vegetables and the rice and different type of things, and that they used to come to the West Bengal for marketing and all. So we have also seen the majority of the people, they were business communities, businessmen, and they had lot of the land. They were landlords. Even the Rabindranath Tagore, many of you know, is a very famous because of his poem and the Nobel laureate, etc. They were also the landlords. They were also having their land in the East Bengal, now present day Bangladesh. The Nanda Bose, all they were having like that. And the house from where the Sri Ramakrishna came, the Balaram Bose, they were all very rich people. There were so many. Even today, if you go to Calcutta, they have the very spacious, big palatial buildings. Unthinkably rich. They were having, just before the independence, the Bengalis were having 12 banks, which afterwards, after the independence, the government of India, they unified and make United Bank of India. They were all 12 different banks run by the Bengalis. They had the jute mills, and they had the rice mills, they had tea, they had they had the the rill, and the very famous family, they used to run the rill, and they had the sheep, the medicine, the clothings, and so many varieties of business they used to do. A very rich community the Bengalis were, before pre-independence and immediately after the independence. The Bengalis were very rich people, but at the same time very highly cultured people. So when some people are rich and doing business, mostly they ignore the education and culture. But Bengalis were not that. They were highly educated people and highly cultured people. And how do you know that they are cultured? Their food, their clothing, their language, their behaviors, and all of that proves they were really, really very cultured. And they were very kind-hearted people also. They used to help a lot. They used to help the poor people. They used to make the roads. They used to make the drinking water ponds. They used to construct the schools and colleges, and many different ways they have that type of work they used to do. Then when the Britishers came, that also they continued like that. They didn't disturb them. Only they used to ask to pay them the money and all that. Then that time, from then onwards, it became little difficult because the Britishers used to squeeze them for more money, more taxes, and automatically it used to go on the ordinary people. And the landlord, where from he will get the money? So obviously taxes, that way they used to collect and give. And at the Britishers, most of the time they used to come to visit their houses. You have to give them the gift. So that was the problem at the time of the Britishers when they were subjugated. Otherwise, that was the culture. So this Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he is visiting, so that was the condition. They were not having the political freedom, and they were under the subjugation of the British rule, and their education was not getting that freedom to think in their own way, because the Britishers used to impose them that these are the way you have to study. So these are the things that was going on. Then that our Calcutta University, it was 1850s, I think it is 1854, 55, I can't remember the exact date, but that was the time. And Swami Vivekananda, they were born in 1860s. Sri Ramakrishna, at that time, he is in Calcutta. So keeping that, when we are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we have to understand the social and economical and political condition of that society. Then only we will be able to understand the great contribution of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So he is visiting different houses. Why? The poor and ordinary people, at the same time rich and educated people. So that says Sri Ramakrishna is going to their house. And let us read from here. Master looked at the pictures. Him and a few other devotees stood around him. Pashupati was explaining the pictures to them. Pashupati was not related to the Nanda Bose, but he used to frequently visit, and he was also knowing Sri Ramakrishna and their group. Now these two persons were not very close to Sri Ramakrishna. They were hesitating, and the rich educated people, and naturally they were courteous. They were thinking how to explain this thing. So Pashupati, that gentleman, he was guiding them. He was giving the tour. But Sri Ramakrishna's close devotees, they were very all the time with the Sri Ramakrishna. The master looked at the picture. Him and few other devotees stood around. The first picture was a Vishnu with 4 arms. Shankha Chakra Gada Padmadari Vishnu. So at the very sight of it, Sri Ramakrishna was overwhelmed with ecstasy. So we all know, those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, He himself was also the Lord Vishnu, the avatar of Vishnu, as Sri Ramachandra, as Sri Krishna, the same way Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, they are the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And he went into ecstasy. He sat down on the floor and remained a few minutes in that spiritual mood. Friends, when just let us think in this way. Suppose you are visiting your ancestral home. You live in a foreign land. After a long time back, you are going to your ancestral home. And then you see the picture of the source from where you have come, maybe your grandfather or your father. Then what will be the reaction? You will be immediately connected with the original source. Oh, this is that I came from. And Sri Ramakrishna, who was the incarnation of the Lord Vishnu, though in human form, but his mind immediately merged with that supreme divine form of the Lord Vishnu. The Lord Vishnu, the God who everywhere the supreme consciousness had took that form as Lord Vishnu. Vishnu means Vistareti iti Vishnu. He was everywhere. That is Vishnu. But he took the form at the request of the Brahma, his own creation, that God, firstborn. So he requested, those who have read the Bhagavata, those who are listening, my talks on the Bhagavata, you know that. So the Brahma requested, so unless you take a form, how we will concentrate our mind? So this was the form Lord Vishnu came, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. So when the Sri Ramakrishna saw that form, that picture, it must be vividly drawn. He went into ecstasy as if merging with his original. In the second picture, Rama was blessing Hanuman with his hand on the devotee's head. Hanuman's gaze was fixed on Rama's lotus feet. The master looked at the picture a long time and exclaimed with great fervor, ah me, ah me. The third picture was of Krishna standing with flute in his lips, to his lip under the Kadama tree. The fourth was of Vamana, the dwarf. These are all the incarnation of the Lord Vishnu. And the Dasha Avatara, that Hindus they believe, the 10 avatars, but all these are the Vishnu. Who was the incarnation of Vishnu? The master looked intently at this picture. Next, the master looked at the picture of Nrsimha or Narasimha. Nara means human, Simha means the lion. It was the mixture of the man and the lion. That's a great story of the Prahlada. So that those who know, they can understand. This the Narasimha, that was the picture. This is again the Vishnu, the Lord Vishnu, who came out, have human body and have animal body, a ferocious lion. So he was punishing one of the Daitvas, one of the demons, who were ignoring or not accepting the Lord Vishnu. So that is the way the story goes. And then at one of Krishna with a herd of cows, Krishna was tending the cows with his cowherd friends on the bank of Jamuna at Vrindavan. Aim said, a lovely picture. Aim means Master Mahashaya commented. Sri Ramakrishna then saw the pictures of Dhumavati. But Sri Ramakrishna didn't mention anything. He was going on saying, obviously, as the Master Mahashaya noticed, when he saw the Lord Vishnu, how he reacted. Then the Rama and the Hanumana, then the Krishna with the flute. Slowly he is coming. Now is coming the Shakti goddess. The Ramakrishna then saw the pictures of Dhumavati, then Shodashi, Bhuvaneshwari, Tara, Kali. These are different aspects of the Shakti, the power, the divine power. As because they create and they sustain. So that is another aspect of the Hinduism. One is Vaishnavism, that begins with the Vishnu. Another Tantra, that with the Shakti, the power of God. And they are depicting in different forms. Dhumavati, Shodashi, Bhuvaneshwari, Tara, Kali. All these portray the terrible aspects of the Divine Mother. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, if one keeps this picture, one should worship them. But you must be lucky to be able to hang them like that on the wall. Now this is the Shakti. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna worshipped goddess Kali. Kali is that Shakti of the Shiva. The Shiva is the consciousness, and the consciousness when become active, it looks like the Kali. So it is not exactly that, but they saw one of the great the sadhakas, he saw that in his dream, in his realization, the goddess Kali in that form. That when they are worshipping and meditating, a different type of forms manifest. So that is the way we understand this is the form, the color, the figure, the eyes, the hands, the features, all these it reveals in their meditation. The great sadhakas, after their austerity, they get this type of glimpses, this type of revelations, realization, and then they describe and these pictures or the images that was created. So he said, now these Shaktis, if you are keeping them, you must worship them, because the terrible aspect of the Mother is the power, and the power which is destroying. If you keep them, you must keep that appeasing them, that power. Otherwise, it may bring the bad result. That's why Sri Ramakrishna mentioned. At the side of Annapurna picture, Sri Ramakrishna explained with great fervor, grand. Annapurna, this is also another power, another aspect of the power, feeding the people, Annapurna. The new picture was one of the Radhika, and she was seated on a throne in the Nikunja grove, surrounded by her women attendants. Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Krishna guarded the entrance of the grove as her officer. Next was Sri Krishna's picture. Then came the picture of Saraswati, the goddess of learning and music. It was in a glass case. She was in ecstatic mood, playing melodies on the veena. The Sri Ramakrishna visiting all these pictures. After seeing the pictures, Sri Ramakrishna went to the master of the house and said, I am very happy today. It is grand. You are a real Hindu. You have these pictures instead of English ones. I am surprised. Now, that is once again, that's why I was telling, unless and until we know the social condition, we won't be able to understand clearly this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So when we are reading the Bible, we must have to understand the social, economical, the political condition of that time. When the Jesus was there, Lord Jesus, and how was the society? How was the economical condition? Like that, if you notice, here also Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, I am happy that you are a real Hindu. Why? Because all rich people, mostly they used to hang the pictures of the then British rulers. Why? Because they used to come and visit those houses, aristocrats' houses, and obviously to pacify them, to keep them in good humor, you have to keep their pictures. Majority of the rich people, they used to do like that. But this man, he kept all these gods and goddesses, Sri Ramakrishna appreciating, and he is mentioning that I am surprised. Nanda Bose was seated. He said to the master, "Please take a seat." "Why are you standing?" Sri Ramakrishna sat down. He said, "These are very large pictures. You are a real Hindu." Nanda, "I have European pictures also." Now, he, being an aristocrat, being a rich man, he was not understanding the meaning of the word that Sri Ramakrishna was indicating. That he said, "I have other pictures also," because that was the norm in those days. The European pictures also. When the European people used to visit them, they will be taking them to that hall, and they will be sitting over there having the tea, coffee, like that. That was the system. The master smiling, "They are not like these. I am sure you don't pay much attention to them." A picture of Keshav's Nabo Vrindavan hung on the wall. Suresh Mitra, a beloved householder's disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, had it painted. In the picture, Sri Ramakrishna was pointing out to Keshav that people of different religions proceed to the same goal by different paths. The master, that was painted for Surendra. That Surendra, he painted that. Suresh. Then Prasanna's father, smiling. You two are in that picture. Because Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is in the center, and he is pointing Keshav Chandra Sen, a very famous speaker in those days, a very famous personality, and he was one of the Nabobidhan, that was a fraction of the Brahmo Samaj, and he was the head of that Brahmo Samaj. And he, with the inspiration of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, used to go and meet other religious people. They used to talk, and Sri Ramakrishna showing as if in that picture that all paths are leading to the same goal. It is a really, really unique concept. Because when Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, "Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja," there was no other dharma than the Sanatana Dharma. At the time of Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Mahabharata age, Dwapara Yuga, there is no other religion, there is no information of other religions. There may be some tribal faiths here and there in the other side of the world, but that was not prominent. Sri Krishna is not mentioning what he meant by Sarva Dharman. That means all your duties and responsibilities. Because there were four, the caste were there, the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya, and the Shudra. So they were having different responsibilities. And so the total, when they come together, the human society is growing properly. The Brahmanas, the intellectual groups, they are thinkers, they are planners. The Kshatriyas, they are protecting and also taking the society according to the planning of the Brahmanas. The Vaishyas supporting them economically and socially and culturally. And Shudras are the working force performing everything that was needed. So that was the caste system. Much afterwards, it became by birth. It is not at all. There is not at all. In the Mahabharata, in many other sources, we find that even in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very clearly mentioned. Bhagavan Krishna is mentioning that Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Guna and Karma. According to the qualities, according to the capabilities of the people, I made 4 different groups, Varna. And these 4 groups are thinkers, the Brahmana. The protectors and movers are the Kshatriyas. And economically supporting the society, Vaishyas. And working force, the Shudras. According to the capacity, they will be going and joining these 4 forces. What there? But then they were also given 4 ashramas, 4 varna, 4 ashrama. What are the ashrama? When you are young, then it is you have to concentrate and learn. Each and every one, according to the capacity, they should learn. And they used to learn in that way. And that is called brahmacharya. Then that knowledge you are contributing to the society, then garhastha. Then after that, you are retired from that work, banaprastha. And in the banaprastha, you are preparing yourself for the final retreat from this life. That is called the banaprasthi, and then comes the sannyasa. When you give up everything, your ego, your association, and you concentrate to ultimate God. That was a beautiful way, a human growth. No attachment. Even at the age of 92, 95, be on the deathbed also, they are counting money, they are thinking. They're not that attachment. So the human growth is wonderfully, and ultimate goal is peace, joy, happiness. How you get that? Counting money? No. By understanding the truth. That was the wonderful Hindu society. And then we mixed up, then we forgot. Then the foreign rulers came, they gave the very wrong description, and we accepted that. So that was the problem. And 4 goals. What are the goals? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are the 4 goals. The Dharma is responsibility. You have given the word, you must keep your promise. That is Dharma. You need not to do anything else, just keep your promise. We find that in the life of Sri Ramachandra. That is called Dharma. And then you should not harm anyone in any way. You should not insult even anyone. That is called Dharma, Ahimsa Dharma. And this is the all Dharma that you learn. Then comes the Artha. Because of your knowledge, you are getting the money and recognition from the society. Then the Kama, all your desires, all your wishes are fulfilled by that way. Then ultimately you go to the moksha. You know this is enough, you give up all those and go ultimately to the God. So that is the circle. The 4 goals, 4 ashramas, 4 varna, all that was the planning. But when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who was Rama, who was Krishna, he became, the same power became Sri Ramakrishna, society changed. And it was only the 18th, 19th century. At that time, different type of religious, different type of philosophical paths in all over the world, in human society it came. Then whole world became united, connected. They were visiting each other, they were understanding each other, and naturally they were learning from each other. So there's a Silk Route. All they used to come from Europe, through the Middle East to India. India was very rich country at that time, so all they used to come over there. Not only the rich in gold, but also in knowledge. So they all used to come over there. They used to take that knowledge, they take that the gold and all other things, and then that was the business. The whole world connected, and that time different type of religions, philosophies, they all came. And major religion was the Christianity, then the Islam and Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, all this. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's task was very subtle and very difficult. Because the strongest power that a person is having in the mind is his philosophy, his thought, his idea. He's so much associated with that right from his birth. So obviously, slowly and steadily, you have to give him the right knowledge, and then he or she will understand that, then a transformation will come. So what is religion now? It is the path, is the school, is the training, is the system. As Swami Vivekananda said, religion is a process that makes a brute unto man, man unto God. What is that process? The process is the system. I will go to the church every Sunday. I will go to the mosque on every Friday. I will go to the synagogue on every Saturday, or I will go to the temple every day. The Hindus have no fixed day. Every day you can go and you must go. So that is the way they go. What is that place? Called holy place. Why holy place? We think about God. And what is God? Love and unselfishness. If you look at the world, it is only hatred. It is only jealousy. It is only power grabbing. It is only ruling on others. That is the desire. I must rule on others. Just opposite is love and unselfishness. It's a wonderful development, this situation that gives us, opportunity that gives us to develop the brotherhood, fraternity. So that is called religion. In different schools they are teaching the same thing. They must teach. That is the religion. It's the transformation. It's a process that makes a selfish person a considerate, loving person. And then from there, a God. God means who can say that all people in this world are my relatives. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the ultimate. So when that picture was drawn, Sri Ramakrishna was in the center. That picture is available still. And I noticed that in the big picture, in Advaita Ashram, Calcutta branch, they have that picture. They were having when I was there. So you two are in that picture, it says. The Sri Ramakrishna is smiling. Yes, it contains everything. Then he said, this is the ideal of modern times. Friends, I will stop over here. This is the ideal of modern times. On the basis of this, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna not only said, he practiced also. When he propagated, all paths are leading to the same goal. All jackals howl in the same way. That is beautifully mentioned. Then in Bengali he said, Shop shealer ek ra. Ra means the way they howl. Now the American jackal and the Indian jackal or the Chinese jackal, will they howl in a different voice? No, the same. Similarly, those who are reaching to the God, will they say different way the gods are? No. If they say they have not reached God, they have not realized God, they have not reached to the goal, ultimate goal. That's why they are confused. So when they reach over there, they see nothing but love, Love. That is God. The God always embraces. God never say go away. And that God you can reach through any path. There's a great conception. The Bhagavan Sri Krishna also mentioned, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stathaiva bhajamaham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. We couldn't understand this. So we make separation because of our ego, because of our own personality gets satisfied when I say my path is the best, and either you follow my path, accept my path, my vision, or you go away. Those who say like that, they are not yet religious. They are just thinking about religion. They have not started their journey. The religion has nothing with the politics, with the sociology or economy. Religion is nothing but love and pure love, love for all beings. But that is the ultimate goal. So this is a great statement. This is the ideal of modern times. You know, friends, after 1500 years, the first time the whole Muslim world in the Riyadh, and the Arabs, the capital, they organized a beautiful meeting, huge and beautiful meeting, inviting all religious heads. We shared our views, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Sikhs, the Jain, the Christians, and different denominations of Christians, different denominations of the Muslims, all came together. Is it not the sign of the great Lord who came in the form of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna in 1836, and who in 1886 he left his body? Within 50 years he gave this idea to this human society, which is now percolating everywhere. We may accept, we may not accept, we may mention his name, we may not mention his name, it doesn't matter for God. But this is the modern times ideals. We cannot kill each other, but we have to understand each other. On the basis of this, with the blessings of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharadamani Devi and Swami Vivekananda, we from the Vedanta Society of Chicago, we have started a new venture in the Chicago city itself, in the northern part of Chicago, and that is called the Keller Avenue. There, every Saturday we invite different religious groups to come and give their philosophy, to express their philosophy. Very slow, but very steadily we are doing it. Why? We know this is the only way in the modern times the people have to understand religion. Whatever religion I am following, if I am satisfied with that, if I like that, follow that sincerely. You must follow that. Don't change. But at the same time, don't criticize others. If anybody is asking you to criticize others, then tell him, if you hate, that means the hatred will be in your mind. And with the mind, with the hatred, full of the mind full of hatred, how can you love God? So that is the question. I don't hate anyone. I don't disturb anyone. Rather, I appreciate that you are trying to reach the God in the same way. All my prayers are with you. Please go to God. Let me also go in my own way. That is the modern time, and that is the Hinduism which once said, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, from the same point of view, and the modern way, exactly the modern God of the Hindus, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he is also saying the same thing. All paths are leading to the same goal. The parliamentary religion that happened over here in 1893, there also Vivekananda, another part of Sri Ramakrishna, the Sri Ramakrishna in the form of Swami Vivekananda, he gave this message only, that we have to be united, not that we have to change our religion and philosophy and culture and accept yours. He said, God forbid. But we have to understand each other. So our programs, I have named it Know and Love. If you know, you will feel loving. Hatred will go away. So we have to know each one. The politicians, some people, for their own benefit, they always interpret in different way. It will be there. You cannot stop them. Some people, though they don't know, just because they are having some and the language, the capacity to express, they will be interpreting in a very different way. But that is not the real religion. Real religion is completely different, and that is love and unselfishness. Thank you, friends. Let us stop here, and if there is any question, I will try to answer.
So one YouTube user, he calls himself PM, I don't know whether it's boy or a girl, they're asking, how can one have self-confidence and at the same time lower the ego of I?
See, the self-confidence and ego are completely different. When you say, I can do it, I also can do it, isn't that? But when you say, I only can do it and nobody else, that is called ego. Some of the political leaders now read in the newspapers that they say that whatever I say, you must follow that. And whatever I do, so that is called ego. But, well, you are also thinking, I am also thinking, and I can also think in that way, I can also perform in that way. So that is called self-confidence. And self-confidence comes with the knowledge, education. The Vidya Dadati Binayam, in the Sanskrit it says, when you are educated, when you are self-confident, you become humble. So that is our teaching, that is the Indian teaching. You are humble, but at the same time, you are confident that I can do it. Why there should be any conflict? Ego is completely different. Ego comes with the hatred, but self-confidence comes with love. Thank you. So thank you, friends. So that was the question, and let us now read chant from this, and we conclude. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai ishavataram parameshamidyam tam ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.